super fab Sherpa review today. We bring in some new blood with Josh Reason. We discuss the future of e-commerce and all sorts of other things. Enjoy the show. Hey, Sherpa Network. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm Tess Diaz, executive producer of DomainSherpa.com, and we are delighted to have you join us today for the DomainSherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become better investors ourselves. We will do our usual 3 segments to the review. We'll start off learning what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Next, we'll discuss in value an investor-submitted domain name portfolio. And finally, we'll preview some domains going to auction soon at NameJet.com and whether the Sherpas think they're a good investment opportunity for you. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are 3 past Sherpas and industry thought leaders. Andrew Rosener, CEO of Media Options. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for being here today. What's happening?
All good. Glad to be here. Finally caught up after my my vacation a few weeks ago, and that's it. That's it. Running fast, trying to get everything buttoned up for the year end.
Very nice. Shane Cultra of DSAD.com. How you doing?
I'm good. Doing well. Getting ready for the holidays like everybody else.
Nice to have you back. Very nice of you to join us despite your nursery business.
Not quite like everybody else. A little different than everybody else, but
yeah. How many have you sold?
Oh no, it's not. Yeah, I'm in the retail business, so that Christmas is it's not quite as fun as maybe some. But honestly, once we're sold out of trees, Christmas trees, and that's usually the first week of December, I don't do anything till February 15th, and well, not even that, probably March. So I get to travel, rest. I'm not running now. I get 6 weeks of no running. It's nice. Well, I shouldn't say no. I do like 30 miles a week instead of 80. So I feel like I'm on vacation.
Wow. And Josh Reason, thank you so much for joining us. I should have checked with you before we started. Last time we talked, you were full-time director at GoCurrency.com, and you had transitioned to part-time domain name investor. You discussed the pros and cons of being full-time and part-time and what worked for you. Is that still your status?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very much full-time at Currency, and yeah, pretty busy.
Very nice. And Josh, this is your first time on the panel, and I think it's fabulous that you're joining us this way too. Thanks.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And you guys go easy on them. Let them get a word in between these two guys. Good luck, right?
Yeah, we'll stop every once in a while. A timer will go off.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Nice. Well,
I'll take a back seat on this one.
No, well, you are up first for What's New Sherpas. So this is our first section where you say a domain that you recently bought or sold, but don't say the price. And they're going to guess the price. And the reason we do that is to get an idea of what's going on in the market and how other experts in the industry look at pricing today. So what domain recently bought or sold?
We could go with a .com or a .io. What do we think?
No,
.com.
Buy or sell.
They're both sales.
Well,
I'll go .io.
Guessing .o. So if you want to embarrass that,
we'll go .io just because I think it just happened the other day and it's a funny story. So we'll go .io. It's Rive.io. So RIVE.
Ride, like a ride.
Rive.
Like V is in Victor.
Yeah, like V as in Victor, yeah.
Okay. RIV as in Victor, E.io.
Yep.
Okay.
Drew's typing out, what is Rive mean?
No, I'm
Yeah. What the heck is that?
Rive, spell it again?
It's just like
R-I-V-E.
Like ride
Okay,
in
all
a
right.
car,
So
but
just
spelled
yeah,
with a
okay,
V.
got it, yeah. V or Z-E?
Victor.
Rise, like rise.
Victor
with a
Elephant.
Z?
Victor Elephant. R-I-V-E.
Oh, Rive.
Yeah, it's actually a word. It's actually a word.
Yeah, we were brokering the .com for a long time. I think we still are. I think we have like a lifetime brokerage on that name.
Is it really pronounced Rive though? I don't know.
Drew pronounces it.
Rive.
I don't know. Good question.
I don't know. I think so. I met this guy one time. His last name was Rive. Honestly, it was a very strange experience. It was on my birthday. We were in Barcelona. It was my wife and I before we had kids. I don't even remember. I think we were in a restaurant and we were like having a lot of fun, probably drinking a lot. And then like the table next to us was having even more fun, but noticed that we were having fun, invited us to join them. And it was like, I don't know. It turned out to be this guy. He's like a billionaire. I have no idea how. He's from Venezuela. I don't even know what he does, but I'm pretty sure somehow he's connected to the boat company called Rive. I think his family maybe used to own it. I don't know. And we left this restaurant. He's like, oh, do you guys want to come have a drink with us? And we were walking through this beautiful neighborhood, not in like the touristy area of Barcelona. And we literally, it was like we were walking and just talking, and suddenly he just walks up to this door. And it was like, it was a house, a really nice house. And he just knocked on the door, and they opened up the door, and we walked in. And it was like a booming, not nightclub isn't the right word. It's like a
House
private club. No house party. This is a private club, like with the nicest bar. I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating. Most beautiful bar I've ever seen in my life, up on the second floor. This library and smoking room down below. And the whole thing was like straight out of a movie. I'm still not entirely sure if it happened or didn't happen. It was one of those nights, but it was quite an experience, whether it was real or not.
So we're going with. So after that, we're going with Rive.
Rive.io.
I think it might be Riv. I think it might be Riv, actually. I don't know.
The Britner.
Is that possible? Riv? I don't know.
Yeah, you don't even know if you're European, man.
Apparently not.
Sorry, that's a throwback to a pre-show discussion.
Hey, listen, I didn't even get to choose. I didn't get to choose my own fate. I'm an American citizen now, so I'll just take that route.
Well, okay, so
from one amusement park to the other.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Shane, what do you think someone paid for RIVE.io?
.io, since he didn't seem super confident and tell us, like Drew does sometime, why it's an amazing name right off the bat. I will say $4,800, just because I think it was one of those buy it now, had a decent price put on it. Could be a little bit lower, but otherwise he wasn't holding out. So I'll take that middle ground, say 4,800.
All right, playing it safe. Drew, what do you think?
I'm going to say 2,800.
Okay, 2,800. What'd you sell it for, Josh?
It sold for $5K. But it was interesting because I bought it the day before for $175. It was actually last Friday.
Come on,
so
I bought it
for $175. One day before. I woke up the next morning and the previous owner messaged me and he said, hey man, like a bit of a situation. I sold you the domain. You've got the domain. I know it just sold on Afternic for $5K. On his Authentic account, and I was like, oh god, this is so obviously, you know, kind of sucked a little bit for him, but actually, really?
Yes, twice. This literally just happened to me. except that the guy, I wasn't in your shoes. I was in the other guy's shoes, and the guy. So we just had one sell for $29,000, and I sold for $2,500 3 years ago, but it was still in my aftermarket account. By the way, that if there's a single improvement you can make in your aftermarket, it's like change the audit process for aftermarket, like so that when you upload a name that you own, but it's in somebody else's account, there needs to be a verification. Like instead of just rejecting it, there needs to be a way to say, no, please review this. Like on Parking Crew, it'll say select the names, just verify that you actually think you own these names, and then we'll verify it, and they do some kind of manual verification. That needs to happen.
Without getting
$29,000, and the guy I sold to was like, he wasn't even using it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna call this guy, get it back for $5,000, he doubles his money. Still $24,000 on the minus commission. I was like, I'm in the money, but he's like, nah, I'm not selling this man. And I was like, I went up to 10, 12, and then I was like, yeah.
So Josh, if the guy sold it for $5,000, how did you get $5,000? Couldn't you give him
He
a
didn't.
little?
He holds the other guy. He was like, yeah, forget about it. And then he called after Nick and said, this is actually my domain. Move the transaction over to me, and he took the $5,000.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Okay, I want to start at the beginning.
Yeah, no.
On Friday, you bought the domain for $175. Where? How?
Just from a friend of mine that I communicate with on pretty much a daily basis. Yeah.
Okay, so
he's another investor. He's a well-known investor.
Okay, so a
We
private
all need those.
transaction. Okay.
Yeah. And then, so I will say this. I split it with him. I didn't take the full amount. I thought I was fine just taking half. I wanted to be fair about it. It doesn't change my life, and I have a good relationship with him. So, and he literally sold it to me hours beforehand. So we just split it.
Yeah.
Well, that was generous of you. So then what'd you do? You moved it back into his account, and he moved it.
No, I
Unlock.
I pushed the domain. Yeah, unlocked, sent the auth code, and he got paid, and then he sent me half.
Okay. Nice when you're doing business with someone you know and trust. So.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that for everyone, I don't think. So.
Would you do that for Shane or Drew?
Oh yeah.
Let's see how the show goes. Let's see
how many more digs Drew makes about England not being in the
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that's how.
Hey, that might
like that happen all the time.
That's a good sale. Congratulations. And
very good sale.
Yeah, no, thank you.
What made you interested in the domain in the first place?
It was a cheap four-letter.io.
Yeah, honestly, and also sometimes I just I like to buy names from people that I sell names to. I like to reciprocate a little bit. So I wasn't honestly that excited about that name, but yeah, I just like to keep things moving. So it was the best name that I saw for the price on the list that he sent me, so I just took it.
Okay. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, that's good business. Very nice. Congrats. All right, Shane, what's new? What'd you buy or sell lately?
Not much really. I've been a little busy since I think we were on last week, so it's only a week spare. I did buy a name, thelandscape.com, because it was in my wheelhouse.
The Landscape. All right. And you're right, because it was in your wheelhouse, I can see, shout out to all the Sherpa network of putting the in front of something, maybe only if it's in your wheelhouse. All right.
Well, I don't know. I think we could have a guy named Mike on here that would say the has been pretty good to him over the years.
Yeah.
True. Who's Mike?
Perkins.
Mr. Motto, mantra, the seller. He gets more out of marketing names and mantra names than anybody I know, or did.
Yeah.
Drew, Josh, what do you think Shane bought it for?
I was in that auction. I don't remember, but I remember thinking this was like immediately after my South Africa trip, and I think the most redundant expression of it was like, wow, look at the landscape, and so I remember thinking about that as I was looking at thelandscape.com. I don't know. I remember it went, a little higher than like a no-brainer price for me. I'm gonna say it was like $1,800. I think, under $1,000, I would have just taken a punt, I think, unless I just missed the end. I don't know, but I remember I was in it.
Okay. Well,
You're talking buy.
So it was
price,
on
right?
NameJet?
You talking buy price, Shane?
Yeah, buy price. Yeah. It was at auction, in an auction house. It wasn't at NameJet though.
He can't provide you with details, man.
Yeah.
Come on, stick with the rules.
No typing.
No, yeah. You got to show your hands.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna say.
He's got the
$1,200 bucks.
presidential bracelet.
Oh.
okay, 1,200.
1,200.
Drew, you're super political today.
I'm in a bad mood today, to be honest with you. Like, it's one of the like 30 days of the year where it's rainy and gray and cold in Portugal, and I'm really not a happy camper today.
That's funny.
Good.
10 days a year, it's cloudy and rainy in Phoenix.
I went to the gym and I was just like, you know what? I don't even want to be here. I want to go to like a boxing class or something. I just want to punch somebody.
This is when I want to get Drew on the show, though. See, as an entertainer, this is the kind of content I need, though. Like, I'm calling Drew up on these days because it's a good conversation. That's how it's supposed to be. I love it.
Dear
like poking the bear.
Submitted domain.
Poke the bear.
Watch out. Oh, boy. Okay, so did you both guess? Drew,
Yeah, they did. No. So
Okay.
I'll give it. When I was buying it, I actually wasn't even thinking about landscape, the nursery, but I figured that was a fall. I was really thinking the landscape, like photos, something artistic. So, but I paid $2,400, which is about $400 more than I wanted to. But I find myself, if I really want a name, I just buy it because I always regret $500, so even $1,000 sometimes if I want a name. So I put it in there for $2,400, and it was like $2,420 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what will you list that for, do you think?
I'll probably try and I'm not going to put a super high price under 10,000. I'd like to actually flip that name. I think I could get 5,000 for it pretty quickly. So that's one of those. I'm trying to do more. I haven't been very active. I've just been so busy with so many things that I haven't done a very good job of moving names and creating cash flow. Mostly because I'm not as aggressive and I don't need it. And that's when you get stagnant. If the account looks pretty good, you just find yourself sitting and waiting. And it never hurts us. If your names are good, sitting and waiting has never been a detriment to your portfolio. But,
yeah.
And because I've been so busy, I haven't needed that action. As domainers, you have to have action. That's just what we do. But I just haven't felt that need. So I've been kind of patient. I've been buying a lot more. But my portfolio looks great. I've been tracking after the last show, I set up emails and tracked my emails. I moved everything to FD to put on a Google Analytics, all my names, just to see what kind of traffic came through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. That's what I've been getting more interested in, is watching that data. What names get traffic? Why are they getting traffic? And that gives me, I guess I found that a cheaper way of just, rather than just buying random names and flipping names for 2,000 when maybe if I wait 2 years, I get 10,000. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been keeping busy, just been spending my time in a little more efficient way, getting to know my portfolio a little better.
Good for you. Yeah. That's cool.
And it's always crazy how what names get the most traffic. You think and you can base it on maybe it was an old site or something, but you take all that away and you're like, uncomfortable.com is one of my most trafficked names. And I'm not sure why, but it's surprising how many people type in uncomfortable.com. It's crazy. And then 123.io is by far my most trafficked name, and it's a .io.
Huh.
So I don't, and it could be, there's some bots in there, you got to write some.
Well, it was yours.
Yeah, it's still mine. I know everybody's been interested in that name, but yeah, there's a lot of other names that are, it's always curious what names, but the 4 letters in .c are by far the most traffic.
Makes sense. All right, Drew, what'd you buy or sell lately?
Okay, I'm gonna go. We just bought a really, really, really good domain, but I can't talk about it. So I'm going to talk about a very mediocre domain, which if we sold instead.
Bait and switch.
No, that is what the audience wants.
Mediocre.
I just told a friend's 6-year-old that I would rather be called a piece of shit than be called mediocre. That was the life lesson that I taught a 6-year-old the other day, this weekend.
That's so sweet. That should be behind you.
If there's anything you don't want to be in life, don't be mediocre. I'd rather be a piece of shit than be mediocre.
Quit your day job and start coaching children. You were made for it.
Except
you
that
be a therapist. Between the pre-show flight,
I would cause so many people to do horrible things if I was a therapist. It would have, they would just, it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good. I'm probably a little too real to be a therapist. You have to hold things back and let them come out at the appropriate times. I disregard all that and just let it flow.
Well, I mean, I tell my daughter, I said, if you're bad, I don't have a problem with it. But what I hate is could be really good at something and do nothing with it. That's like the worst thing you can do, is have the ability or have a chance and then you just don't do anything. I'd rather you just be, let's say it's a race, a person at the back who's struggling to run and comes in last place, but they at least finished and tried. I'm much more proud of that.
Totally.
That's much easier to cheer for and be happy with. So so there's a life lesson in this shit.
There's an important quote out there for that, but I don't remember what it is. But it's something to the extent of.
I think rather be shitty than be mediocre. I think that works. That's a long bumper sticker, but a bumper sticker.
The bumper sticker that fits on the new Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah. Oh. That's a whole nother conversation. I cannot wait to see you in that thing. Amazing truck. I love it. It's amazing. He could take a dump on stage and you guys would put down a $100 deposit on it.
Listen, if he wrapped it in cold rolled, impenetrable exoskeleton steel, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
He had me at cold rolled steel exoskeleton. It was like cold rolled impenetrable steel exoskeleton. Sold. Okay, thank you. I'll take it.
This is gonna be this. You and Morgan bought one. He doesn't even really have a parking spot. Like I can't.
I saw that.
I love that we're all out there saying we bought a Cybertruck. We paid $100 deposit on like a $80,000 truck.
Yeah, refundable.
Yeah, $100 refundable deposit on an $80,000 truck, but we all bought one.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what they said.
There's a lesson to be learned right there. Okay, I've been thinking about this, like the idea of like optioning a domain, or like, and I think like, giving people the ability to do just that. Like I pre-ordered, I don't know, beacon.com. I pre-ordered beacon.com. I paid $100. It's like I own it.
I talked about that Rally. Have you been on Rally X lately? It's absolutely what they're doing is buying assets and breaking it down to shares. I bought part of a Lamborghini, part of a first edition Harry Potter, blue Rolex. like all
Looks like-
kinds of asset. A Mickey Mantle rookie card.
You mean Rally Road?
Rally Road. Sorry, yeah, Rally Road.
Oh yes. Stay
I mean,
tuned,
it's-
my friend. Stay
You
tuned.
could absolutely throw in a digital asset and break that down just as well, and then open up the shares in 6 months and go back to beacon.com and resell your shares. It's 100% doable and legal by law now. 100%.
Well, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know if you ever bought anything on there. You just see I have no idea the contracts I'm signing. Like it just says, put your signature here, next one, signature, next one, initials, next one. There's like a 40-page contract at the end. It could say,
Yeah.
this is not real. I don't even know.
Yeah. 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 Stay tuned, my friend. Stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, I think I own a 95 Ferrari or something. I have no idea, but I feel like it because it says it in my app, so I must, right?
That's right. That's right.
You can't put it in my app and say
Hey,
that
listen,
I own
I walk
shares
around
of
all
it.
the time saying, hey, I'm an owner in Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, exactly.
I own Berkshire Hathaway. Nice to meet you.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us more about your mediocre purchase, Drew.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay, so it's not a mediocre purchase by definition, since I sold it.
Oh.
It's a phenomenal purchase. But like James Booth is a phenomenal domain broker.
Yeah.
So storemore.com. 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 That's the domain. And it's a sale. We sold it.
Store more. Love it.
Store more.
That's a
Now,
nice.
can you say, is it yours or a client's?
It's ours.
Okay. It's a fine domain. Let Josh go. Since we don't let him talk, we might as well let him tell the price.
Yeah, okay. That sounds to me, I think you sold it for $19,000.
$19,000. Storemore.com. Okay. Shane.
All right, I'm gonna say 8,800 because Drew's was feeling like moving some names right now for a big purchase that he made that he can't tell us. So I'm gonna say 8,800. He was feeling generous, even though I think it's a great name. I mean, that's one of those put it up, and you're gonna get some hits on. I like the name a lot. Yeah, I'll say 8,800 though.
Yeah, I like it as well. I think it's a great name.
All right,
So
Drew.
wait, hold on. What was you said 8,800? You said what?
19,000.
19,000.
I like it. It's a call to action. It rhymes. It's
I want to
super
see those
simple.
hands. I want to see those hands.
And all of America is obsessed with storage and storing things.
Just that,
You think I'm looking into your books, Drew? You think I got access
No,
to
I
the
was
media
gonna say,
books?
it's a
Huh?
No, it actually was a public sale. It actually was a public sale. It sold.
Oh,
through-
really?
Yeah, it sold
Oh.
through. Oh, you know what? Actually, hold on. No, you're not as close as I thought. Sorry. That was a different name.
Do you
The
rescind
other
your
one I was gonna do another one that would have been closer, but so storemore.com. I'm supposed to give the price now, right?
yeah.
$16,500 via Afternic.
Oh, was it a buy it now?
God, that's a good question. I think yes. I believe.
I mean, that's a
I
perfect.
think so. I think it was, a price inquiry, right? And I went in, and I set the price, and then they came in and they just bought it.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Good name.
Yeah, I mean, after an
Yeah, that's a really good name.
Store more. Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting because about 2 years ago, we've had this name a while, and about 2 years ago, we had a deal at $4,999 on Sato, which we accepted, and the buyer failed to pay. So if your timeline is long enough, a failing buyer can often turn into a larger profit.
Yeah.
Went to a German company. Looks like it's forwarding to a .de.
What do they do? Storage?
It's all in
Yeah,
German. it's all in German, but I honestly can't even tell what they do.
You know, it's funny. Storemore.de is also on. It's on Sado for sale. Park page. Deb's Lagerbox. So it's like a self-storage.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lagerbox.
Lagerbox.de.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why
Wonderful.
would they use Store More? You know what? You know why these little bastards? I wonder if they knew that this domain had traffic, because it does. It has traffic, and I bet they're just taking it and forwarding it for leads.
Huh.
Although I'm not sure it has $16,000 worth of referrals.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot of leads.
But you should go buy that DE, put that for sale, and tell them.
Yeah.
Storemore.de is
It
available.
is Store More. You know
Got
what?
until Monday to make it happen.
Yeah. Once
Yeah, there's a company in India called Store More. Store More is India's first storage service for households and businesses. So it's India's first self-storage. There's a couple people in India. The company could do well.
Yeah.
there are a
But
couple.
they're only doing 1.8 million a year in revenue. Forget it. Forget about it. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Storemore.com. I stand by it. Great sale. $16,500.
How much did you buy it for? How long?
That's a great sale.
Good question. Imagine. Let's see. Store More. Wow. You know, it'd be amazing if I had an inventory that had purchase prices, purchase dates. You know, like it managed my domains and told me where they live. Imagine if I had that. Just imagine what I could do with an inventory that told me what I paid for domains, where they live, when I bought them. Wow. Someday.
You want me to call Travis and have him build it for you?
Well, you'd have
I
to.
feel like Travis might have had a few calls on this subject already, actually.
You'd have to actually submit the data to get entered into the inventory.
The funny thing is that's exactly what Travis and I talk about, because we jokingly say Josh with his 10,000 names needs to manage it. And he goes, I could build him anything in the world, but it doesn't matter unless he puts stuff in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it needs to automatically pull from your NameJet account, from your GoDaddy account.
As long if you keep it
the majority. Well, that's actually true. I mean, I guess a lot of the domains we buy, in terms of number of domains.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tess. What do you think?
Quantity.
Yeah, number of domains. I would say most of them are going to be GoDaddy and NameJet.
And that's an easy
and some Sado.
Right. I mean.
Oh yeah.
For somebody that knows how to write. I'm not saying No. But yeah.
It would be amazing, especially for the refunds when a domain doesn't get added after all. There's a lot of work to it. Okay, hey, let's do section number 2. Sherpas, thank you for sharing what you recently bought or sold. Let's take a moment. I'll tell you about our advertisers for today's show who support us in our educational mission for the domain name industry.
First, serious about online trading? Secure your funds, keep your merchandise safe, and use a company that keeps the buyer and seller protected the whole way through. That's escrow.com. Payments you can trust.
All right, in the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to owners so they can either cut their losses, continue to hold them long-term, or figure out a sales strategy moving forward. I will say I do not have a list for 2 weeks from now when we film, so I do hope that you go in there and submit your portfolio to be reviewed. Today's list was submitted by Mark S., and it's pretty good. And Mark sent along a couple specific questions. You Sherpas have them in your chat, but I'll also, holler out eventually. He's wondering particularly opinion on the new TLDs. He wants to let you know that 2.casa has the most traffic of all the domains submitted, including the legacy TLDs. And then he also sent over what the renewal prices are. Looks like in my formatting I missed 2 of them. But basically the renewal prices are pretty reasonable. The most expensive one is lease.house, at $73 per year to renew. So
Okay.
with that said, Shane, you are numero uno.
So just to make it, the one you put in our chat, those are all also names he owns and wants us to talk about?
Those should be on the list. I mean, I just
Yeah, they're on the list.
Tucasa is?
Yeah, so
The list I have
yeah.
starts with the list I have starts with support.org.
yes, and 2tu.casa is the fourth from the bottom.
Oh yeah, I got it. It is on the list.
So
My fourth from the bottom is carnivals.com.
oh, that's weird. Okay.
How can you have a different list than we have?
I'm telling you.
Same email, different list.
Oh, I see. You know why? Because they're not
You sorted.
blue. They're not in blue, so it looks like my eye didn't pick up. It only picked up on the linked ones.
So you're old?
No, I'm just I focus hard, so I focus on the blue.
I like that's positive. I focus hard.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so one question though I have. I thought I looked at Sports Agent and I saw Josh had listed that on Twitter asking questions about it. So I want to know his relationship to this name, whether it was at an auction or how did that come about?
I sold it to this guy.
Okay.
Insider info here. Nice.
Yeah, so I was thinking, am I being played here? Is this Josh's portfolio? He's going to get reviewed live on air? Okay, that makes sense.
No.
Okay. I think it's a great portfolio. If you took an S away from a lot of these names, it'd be an amazing portfolio because you take courtyards and change it to courtyard, and obviously you add another zero to the end. And same with Carnival, and there's just a garden. Even garden.net would be maybe as good a .net as you can play with. So I think it's a great name. It's so much better than what we've had to deal with in the past. Support.org is, again, that's a perfect, when it comes to org, you want help. You want help and service in the thought pattern of what the name is, and support is a perfect one for .org. What's the value in that? I don't know, but it is a 5-figure name because it's a great name for a company that wants to exude that they could have some kind of online support or international call center for support. So I think that's one of my favorite. Community garden, again, that's in my wheelhouse. There's not a lot of money in that, but in Europe, where Josh used to be from a long time ago, community gardens are huge. There's not as much space. Things are a little tighter. And every school, especially in like Holland, community garden is a big part of the neighborhood where they all have a little plot in the community garden where everybody works. So, every time I travel, I think that's a really important part of I don't know if they call it a community garden, but I think that's what they have. Even the 4letter.com, WOCS, are great letters. And I like when there's an O in there because it can mean the word of. So O fits really well in the middle. At the end, I don't think it's as strong because if it was org, they'd buy .org. But in the middle, it works really, really well. So something like that, flippable, $1,200, $1,300 tomorrow if you wanted to get that on an auction house. As far as Middle Ages, I'm not sure what you would sell that for. I like the name. I like the thought pattern. It's a words that people know. So just in general, I think he's really got it in a good space of where he's going to make some money. It all depends on what he paid. Josh knows more about that, but I think he's done a really good job with this, at least top 20 names. And I'll say on the new TLDs, I don't think lease house. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person who says you buy a new TLD, it's shit. I do think it's hard to make money, but I think if I'm an end user, I think new TLDs can work. I don't really see I just don't see much use. Like buy.watch, a call to action new TLD does nothing for me at all. I don't even see it in a marketing program. So I don't care how much traffic it has. I'm not a huge fan of those. If he sells it, great, but I wouldn't recommend to somebody else to follow that.
Okay.
I'll start there.
Thanks. Yeah. Good feedback. You said 5 figures for support.com. 5 figures is a large range. Low, mid, high 5. What do you think?
I mean, I'd be 15 to 20. I mean, I think that's a really strong keyword for .org, and that the call centers and online support are the biggest part. Anybody can start a company now. That's not a problem. Fulfilling your customers' needs if they have problems, that's a problem. That is a huge problem, and people are doing a shitty job at it. So the companies that can provide that and appear that it's you doing the service, that's $1 billion industry. Billions and billions, and Salesforce alone is leading the way in those kind of things. So yeah, I think it's a good name to be a part. Your brand of your company, I don't know that that's going to be support.org, but it's certainly going to be a part of what you do. So I think it's an ancillary name that's still worth that kind of money.
Yeah, and important to note the difference between the full brand and an ancillary domain.
And people will pay 5 figures and 6 figures for marketing names that you put on the side of your truck. I tell everybody, a commercial on a shitty show on television starts at $100,000. That doesn't count production. That doesn't count anything. So to spend low 5 figures on a name that you use just to put on the side or to represent you, for a large company, that's not that big.
Store More is probably an example of that.
Yeah.
Right? Storemore.com. Right there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And a marketing budget, it depends, but let's say it's 5% of sales, 1.8 million, and you put that together and you have a little something to spend on a name like that.
Yeah.
The other thing I say is in the phone book, in a local phone book for a small business like mine cost me $15,000 in the old days, $15,000. And that was for just a little square. So people tell me, they're not going to spend that. Well, you used to spend that on a phone book ad, and those don't exist anymore. So you've got to spend that on a domain instead of a phone book ad.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, Drew, what are your thoughts?
I think it's the best portfolio we ever had for review on DomainSherpa.
Except when we reviewed our own, right?
Yes. Which we should do again, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to start. There's a lot of names I like on here. I concur with a lot of the sentiments from Shane.
Start
I
renewable.
think, what?
Renewablefuel.com.
That doesn't do anything for me. Zero. That's.
It's a nice thought.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Nobody's going to sell renewable fuel online. So it's literally like a potential marketing campaign. Way back in the day, I invested in a ton of green and clean energy and renewable energy, all kinds of, I don't think we've ever sold one. In a world where Win.com was on the market for like 300 grand and there was no takers, and eventually it sold, but like, I don't know. I don't see renewable fuel lighting the world on fire. Not a worthless domain. I certainly wouldn't drop it. Obviously I'd keep it, but I don't think that's a particularly interesting name on the list. In fact, I think it's probably one of the least interesting.
Well, I think that kind of points out something where even though it may be a topic of conversation, there's really no product or service that you can sell with it.
Yeah.
And no like big forum of conversation to go with it. So there's putting a business plan with that, even though it's a term everybody recognizes, that's where the disconnect is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think being overly generic in something which isn't a commercial product, commercial service, um, like a retail commercial product, then yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I just don't like it.
Okay. Now,
The one I like really that just, podcast.org, we sold the .com for, pretty good price. And I think that's a great name. I like podcast.org a lot. I like Bottle. I'm just kind of a big .org fan. But maybe not when they start jacking up our prices. Safe.org.
wait, what do you like about bottles.org?
Well, okay, so Bottles is actually a hell of a business. It's a rabbit hole. I'm not going to go down, but it's a great business. So bottles aren't just like glass bottles. Like bottles are also like all this, cannabis oils, CBD, all these things. They go in these little like things. They're called bottles. They're called e-bottles, or bottles business is huge. There's a huge lead gen segment there. There's a whole intermediary business. Bottles is a good name. It is. Yeah, gardens.net, like Shane said, garden.net would be exponentially better. But that being said, gardens.net, I mean, it's pretty big. I've said a million times, I'm not a huge fan of the new GTLDs, at least in the context of the current market. Like, we own some, and when I see great deals on one that really makes a lot of sense, and the renewal price is normal or reasonable, I'm open to buying them, and I think that there is a place for them. But I do like this TU Casa. It's just, it's short. It's tu.casa. Casa is like, both tu and casa are like two of the most widely recognized Spanish words, regardless of if you speak Spanish. Mi casa, tu casa. It's like my house is your house. It's like people in Kansas say mi casa, tu casa, right? Like it's a ubiquitous saying. It's vini vidi vici. It's like, it might be a little highbrow for our audience. I'm just joking. I like that a lot. Tu.casa. I don't, I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody that this is a 6-figure name. I think it's probably a low 4-figure or mid 4-figure name today, but I do think it's a great domain.
Would you sell it or hold it?
Oh, hold it. All of these, if you're buying new GTLDs and you're buying them because you think you're going to sell them now, like, yeah, maybe there's an opportunity to like quick flip some of these if you really steal them, or you're the original registrant on like the sunrise period or whatever. But for the most part, I mean, there's no liquidity. There is no, I'm going to go flip this. Like, you can go hustle and find a buyer in the aftermarket, maybe. But most of the companies I've spoken with and we've taken on a few of what I would say are some of the best new TLDs in the world. And I haven't been met with a very receptive audience in the end user market. So yeah, it's a buy. All of these are buy and hold for me, in my eyes, if you're, if you're buying these.
Okay, you continue to hold, since Mark really wanted us to focus on the GTLDs. Would you hold or let go of just.win, buy.watch, lease.house, visitors.center?
Well, obviously I'd keep tu.casa, buy.watch. I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of good, but like, I wouldn't buy buywatch.com. And so therefore I wouldn't buy buy.watch. And I think that's a pretty good gut check. Like, just because something is short and cute doesn't mean that it's a good fit. And like, I wouldn't buywatch.com. Like if buywatch.com was on NameJet, I don't even know if I would back order it to watch the auction. Like it's just not the way that you say that. Buy a watch, buy even the watch. You know, it's just so yeah. I don't like that one. I think it's I would let that go. Lease.house, I also don't like. Consumers say rent, they don't say lease.
Yeah, lease is commercial.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, I forgot. The two favorite names on the list are Net Zero, although I would only really like it if you had net and then zero.com as well. I think it's important to have both. But Net Zero is a really, really cool brand in a world where, you know, all of a sudden the last month you have, I don't know, is it Microsoft or IBM? Some huge corporation came out saying, we're going to be totally carbon neutral. And then somebody else just piled on, I think yesterday or maybe yesterday. But there's been a couple, like there's major companies coming out, there's airlines, everybody's coming out and saying, okay, we're going to be carbon neutral, right? Like, you know, we might have a problem with the, you know, climate. Let's think about fixing it. So, so Net Zero, I like that name a lot. I think it's solid. And then Find Stuff is also, I like. You know, I don't know. You can go a lot of different ways with that. Find Stuff, sure as hell would be a better search engine name than DuckDuckGo. So I like it. I like Find Stuff. I like it better than Find. I really do. I like it better than Find.com. It's just Find Stuff. I like the word stuff. I sold the word stuff.com, by the way, years ago.
I'm going to we're doing like a white elephant.
That was a Birkin's name. Sold that for Birkin's.
Nice. Also the stuff?
No, just stuff.
I'm going to a white elephant, like our family's doing one at Christmas.
I don't know
And
what that means. White elephant? What does that mean?
it's the Christmas gift or Hanukkah or whatever gift exchange where you just bring a random gift and everybody exchanges it and you pick and fight over who gets to get which gift.
Why is that called a white elephant? I've never heard that in my life.
You haven't? It's pretty fun because you always bring a gag gift.
Yeah, white elephant has an old history of somebody in like Thailand or something. He used to give white elephants to people, like a prince or something, would give white elephants to people he was mad at because the cost of, like, white elephants have no value, but the cost of upkeep on the animal would like run them out of business or like bankrupt them. So that was his like screw you gift.
You know, I had a funny hypothesis about the entire new GTLD program, that it was orchestrated for that very reason, that it was,
God,
you know, it was some mastermind giving the domain industry a bunch of white elephants that would run them dry, thereby freeing up the real valuable aftermarket for certain others to come in and just scoop up. Still haven't given up on that theory.
wow, paradise.
Especially when you see something like the .org registry being sold to a private equity firm. Save.org.
Oh, wow. I cannot believe you've never been to a white elephant party or exchange or something, because they can get really funny. They can be gag gifts. They can be serious. But I was thinking about bringing not a gag gift. You know those things where you put one thing on your keychain and then you have the other one somewhere in your house and you can click it to find your keys every time you lose them?
A tile?
Yeah, a tile. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that being my white elephant. I don't know.
That's a shitty white elephant gift. That's nice. White elephants are supposed to be like redo, like an old pair of socks or something.
Okay, so
women always bring the great gifts. Like, you know, I'll give them a used spark plug, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I thought you thought this was funny. This is an '86 bottle of wine, not an '87. It's valuable." I'm like, that's so terrible. White elephant. It's supposed to laugh. it's always fun.
All right, so I have a
Starting to
question
get
about
lost
one
in.
more name.
Okay.
What is the proper, is it visitor center or visitors center? What how do you say it? I'm kind
Visitor.
of stuck.
Oh, actually,
Singular, right?
Yeah.
I
I don't.
What's the
It
correct?
sounds weird with the S.
It does, right? I'm not, but I'm also
It does
not.
sound weird.
I'm
I
also
would
not
say visitor
100%
center. I think visitors center. I don't know.
okay.
That alone makes it trouble.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you start Googling VISITO, the fourth thing is visitor singular center. And then
Yeah.
it even comes up down
There
at
you
the
go.
bottom, second to last, visitor center near me. So it's visitor, not visitors. So you can drop that one too. That'll never sell. That's a white elephant.
Okay.
That's just going to suck you dry, baby. Suck you dry while you're missing out on opportunity to buy better names.
There you go. All right, Josh, what are your thoughts here?
Oh, but look at this. It
Yeah,
forwards to this guy's thing called vintage.domains. That I want to own. So if you're listening to this, which I imagine you are, contact me. I want to buy vintage.domains from you. Because I am, I believe, the only domain name antique collector.
Okay, so you're just randomly shouting out to anyone who owns this domain.
No. I went to oh, you know what? Sorry, not you. Yes, it is you. Visitors.center.
Who
You
is
know what? I think he owns both, and he just gave us the shitty one.
Are you talking to Mark, who submitted his domains? Who are you talking to?
Probably myself.
Yeah. It's Mark who owns it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark owns it. Mark, you heard me.
Okay, all right. He wants the domain. Got it. Another successful sale on DomainSherpa. Maybe. All right, Josh, what do you
Maybe he's literally using it for his marketplace. So maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only the marquee name of his entire portfolio.
Mark, offers off the table, baby. I just hand registered antique.domains.
Oh, but vintage is better and
No.
What?
There can only be one vintage.domains.
And there can only be one antique.domains.
It's true.
And then the question begs.
How about earliest.domains or original.domains or first?
OG.domains. Short?
No.
All right, Josh, get a word in. What do you think?
OG.domains. That's a good one. That's the initials for my daughter's first name and middle name. Olivia Grace. OG.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe I can do
OG?
that. OG. Yeah, OG.
Does K
Anyway,
have any significance for you?
point.
I've got OGK.com.
OGK.
Great. Josh
I don't
will.
know.
I
I could probably.
Kush.
OG Kush.
OG Kush, baby.
I could probably find some significance. Okay. All right. Let me. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I own a name, I can always find some value somewhere. Like, no problem.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start with the new TLDs. I also like 2.casa. I've sold a lot of Spanish names. I've had actually quite a lot of success with Spanish names. In fact, I think I've sold quite a few to Drew at some point. But
I think those are Portuguese, no?
They typically.
Oh no.
I tried some Portuguese ones, but he didn't want the Portuguese ones.
Yeah, I bought the Spanish ones. No, I bought
the Spanish ones.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I offered you
Verso from you, right?
Yeah, you did. And then I offered you a spaco, or a spaço, for space in Portuguese, but you didn't want it, so I put it on NameJet. I offered it to you.
But hold on.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. Did I actually pass on that? Because that would have been so stupid. Because I have,
You passed on it. I don't know why you passed on it, because I offered it to you for like $800, and it sold for $4,000 on NameJet. So.
Can we rewind the tape?
Cut that part out.
Sorry.
No, no. It's all good. I can't give it if I can't take it.
Hey, at least you got universo.com. That was a steal, and you know that was a steal. So.
Oh, that was a steal. That was a great deal. Universo. I own the Universe in Spanish and Portuguese. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Who else knows the Spanish and Portuguese Universe? I do.
Okay, Jeff.
So anyway.
What do you think here? Do you think
Sorry, Mark.
value out of middleages.com? Like students?
Yes. So yeah, let me just say this on the ETLDs while I remember. I think it's always a good move to look up how many TLDs are registered with the entire word. So like visitorscenter.com, .net, .org, see how many of those are registered, because it is very telling as to the quality of that new TLD.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always the case, but it's a good way to kind of spot check yourself. So out of those ones, I agree with you. I would probably only keep 2.casa. I like that name a lot. I have similar type of names. I have like miabogado.com and just like various ones of like 2 or me, and I think that those work really well. But yeah, so I would keep that one. With the other ones, the ones that I really like, I mean, the whole list is solid. But the ones that I like, I do actually like middleages.com. I have that one highlighted. It kind of reminds me of like romanempire.com, which sold the other day on GoDaddy. Sold for like $6,500 or something like that. And I was gonna buy that one, and I decided not to, just for a variety of reasons. It's the type of name that just looks amazing to me, but the chances of it selling are relatively low, I think, at least quickly. But that's the same type of name. I like it. I think it's a really cool name. It would make for a cool brand, but it's not really in line with today's branding trends from what I'm seeing. I really like support.org. That's probably my favorite of the list. I honestly, I think I would price that probably more in the mid 5-figure range. Just, I think that it goes so well with the .org extension. So that's probably my favorite. Obviously, I like sportsagent.com. I sold it to him. I think he got a pretty good deal there. I think he'll do well with it. I would probably price it somewhere between 25 and 30K, something like that. And I also helped him get the plural. So he has both. He has sportsagent.com and sportsagents.com. I don't know if you wanted me to say that, Mark. Sorry if you didn't. But yeah, he does have both of those. And then I like lecturehall.com as well. Just because it's one of the few on that list that's not plural, so I could see it being used as a brand. The other ones, yeah, they're okay. I would keep them, but I probably wouldn't buy them to put in my portfolio, most of them, particularly the plural ones. I don't, it's so rare that they sell. It's really hard. I do like bottles.org for a variety of reasons. I think it fits the extension quite well as well, actually. But yeah, overall, there's not any on that list that I would like say no way to. I wouldn't go out of my way for any others apart from the 4 that I just mentioned. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good list. I will just say one thing about it, in that there are not many names on that list that strike me as very strong brands. Like, I don't expect the company is going to necessarily call themselves many of these names. And I think that in most cases, you're going to get a lot more sales when you have a portfolio full of brands, at least today, than like descriptive names like this one, these ones. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Thank you. Very well thought out and good to hear. All right, let's take a moment here. Oh, first, I'm sorry, Mark, thank you for submitting these domains, for your donation to Fred Hutch Cancer Research, and for putting up with these guys and their comments. Let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors who support us in our educational mission.
FD was built by domain investors to increase your inquiries, sales, and profit. Forget spreadsheets and archived emails. Manage your entire investment portfolio in one place using a secure and completely confidential platform. Learn more at FT.com. That's EFTY, FT.com.
So, time for the NameJet Marketplace list. Big shout out to NameJet for sponsoring this segment of the review. Let's see some domains going to auction soon and what the Sherpas think of them. Drew, you are numero uno here.
All right. You've got to be a little careful. So I back ordered BarbaraWalters.com because I think I literally can't even describe the number of times I laughed at the various comedians that used to make fun of her for like Barbara Wawa. This is Barbara Wawa. Well, I forgot what the intro was, but I don't know. For those of you who don't know, Barbara Walters was like a 60 Minutes type of
And she started The View.
And started The View. This is Barbara Wawa. And so, anyways, I just had to. But I would just like donate that to her. You don't want to really buy that name because you're just going to lose it. Probably, though, you won't lose it until she dies. And then her estate will probably come and get it. I know Shane is going to want to be all over their Aquaria.com. Let's see. ISS.com makes me think of ISIS, so I'd probably avoid that one. I know. I really liked The Rush. I feel like that's like a Red Bull domain. It's like it's all about the rush, the thrill. I like it. I like The Rush. And I think the almost adds something to it in a way. I'm not going to say it's more valuable than Rush.com, but Rush.com could be many things. The Rush.com can only really be, one meaning. Okay. So I liked it. I like that name. I think Healthy Drinks is another name. Like in the last portfolio, we talked about renewable fuel. I think Healthy Drinks is in that same ballpark. Like you are never going to see Coca-Cola buy healthydrinks.com and go, here's our list of all of our healthy drinks. If it's not on the list, it must be unhealthy, right? Nobody's doing that. So that's not a very good domain in my opinion. I love kidcare.com. I think that's an awesome domain. Basically, it's not, every human with a child, is spending money on, spends time thinking about and dealing with, and is concerned over child care, kid care. And kid care, because of the K and the C, it also kind of rolls. It's a nice little brand. Kidcare.com, solid brand. I like that name. Raba.com. I don't know if that means something. Let me just Google that real quick. But I like Raba a lot just because I like all 4-letter CVs with repeating vowels. We've got lots of them. YOLO.com, Pepe.com. I don't even know what else we own. Rolo, ROLO, Rosso, ROSO. We've got lots of these things, maybe 20 of them. 4-letter CVCV, repeating vowels. I don't know if we've actually sold a lot to end users, to Shane's usual point of I used to go hard on these 4-letter CVCV things, but they never actually sell. But they sure do look good.
Yeah,
and I
they
do
sell it
stand
all.
by the fact that they sure do sell well at auction. Yeah, I like that.
I sold Vato.com. That was a good name, Vato.
Did you sell to an end
What was
user?
it?
No, I sold it to Sahir. Or yeah.
Yeah, it's Sahar.
Sahar. Yeah. Yeah. But I get 5 figures for it, so
I hope Sahar's doing all right. I haven't heard anything else since that whole thing broke. But yeah.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. I think that's, in terms of like the ones that pop out at me, is particularly interesting. That's pretty much it. I think my favorite is Kid Care. I love Kid Care. I think that's an awesome domain name. And The Rush and Barbara Walters.
Okay.
I have a question since we have both on here. A name we did before and had a long discussion, chili.com sold.
Yeah.
We talked about chili.
Elliot Silver bought it.
Yeah, 16 grand or 16.5. What do you think about that? I mean,
I think Elliot will be trying to sell it to me for 18 next week.
yeah. I mean, I love the word. I mean, the chili.
I hate it. We sold chili.
That's exactly why I
don't even know
asked.
which one. We sold one of the spellings. I don't even know which one. Years ago, it took forever to sell, and we ended up selling it to some guy who's like kind of a domain investor, kind of an end user, paid somewhere in the middle of those two. Then there's like, this other is CHILI, CHILLI, CHILLY, CHILLY. Some idiot probably spells it CHILLIE too. I just don't, I don't like things that can have lots of spellings because it's too hard to cover your blind spot. And that's just one of those words. It's got a lot of different meanings, which can be a good thing. But in this case, it's like kind of all over the place. It can be spicy. It can be cold. It's like, I don't know how those two jive. Yeah.
And every single domainer would have seen that domain as well. It's not like it went for an astronomically high price. So there's a lot of eyeballs that could have bought that name if they wanted to buy it.
That's a very big mistake. Don't operate under that assumption. Okay. Some of my most profitable purchases were domains that anybody could have bought. But I simply identified a really good reason to go higher than the next highest bidder.
I'm talking about resell. If he wanted to resell it, talking about if he wanted to resell it to you.
Oh, if you want to, no.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Sorry.
If you're trying to buy, I get emails every day from people that are like buying domains on NameJet, and then they email me the day after they bought it, and they're like, "No, do you want to buy this domain for 3 times the price?" And it's like, dude, if you asked me on a person, I would knock your front teeth out just to do you a favor. You don't keep doing this. Like.
And
somebody's got to give you some negative feedback. You got to get hit in the face with a board so that you go, "Oh, I shouldn't do this." It's like clearly your lack of selling domains isn't doing it for you. So somebody's got to like punch you in the face and teach you, don't do this. Bad behavior, like break the cycle.
Again, Drew, definitely quit your day job. Go into therapy. You'd be so good at it.
I have to do it in a country where there's like very limited law. I could do it in like, I don't know. Yeah. In Djibouti.
I would say Europeans don't sugarcoat things as much. So Drew's probably gone even further into that just bluntness area since moving.
No, man, I'm out in the universe, man. I got universo.com. I'm out in the universe. Don't try to put me on a continent.
That's what I'm most excited. I found a world where I'm tame compared to Drew. So
I think
everywhere else they think I say like, man, he says exactly what he's thinking. I'm like, have you met my friend Drew?
I think we need to create a picture of you and the quote, "Don't put me on a continent." Or did you say, "Don't try and put me on a continent"?
Yeah. I have a friend, Taye, and she gave a whole TED talk about that. Don't ask me where I'm from. Don't ask me where I'm from. Ask me
who I am.
I live. Something like that. It's actually a really good talk. I didn't love the title, but it's a really good talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, to your point, the buying domains that you see the value in that other people don't see. I completely get that. Just circling back to what you were saying beforehand. Obviously, some of the best end user sales that you can get are just from identifying value that other people just can't see. So
yeah, and it's not just domains. It's any asset class. It's stocks. It's it's identity, housing. Whatever. You gotta.
But that's
watches or paintings. It's just identifying that one little thing that makes it particularly unique, particularly scarce, particularly attractive, just enough better than the next best alternative.
But it still needs to actually be valuable. And that's the problem when you're an entry-level domain investor. And that's really the biggest purpose of this show, is the difference between, you see value, others don't see, but it still has value. So that's the challenge. All right. Thank you each. Who is up next on NameJet?
Gosh.
Okay. Jeff.
Okay. Yeah. So I did want to. I think it's a good list. I did want to talk about healthydrinks.com just because I have a slightly different view on that one to Drew. I completely agree with him on what he's saying in terms of, I don't think there are going to be that many people that come to you for it. I don't think Coke would ever, create a website that shows all of their healthy drinks. But I think that if I bought it, I could sell it. I think that I could sell it for a profit, just because energy drinks and making sure that they're healthy is, I feel like it's certainly over here in California, I see them popping up all the time, like they're everywhere. So although I don't think that it's a great domain, I think that I could position it in a way
would they do with
that
it?
would sell.
Because this is really important. This really is. This is like probably the most important in terms of actually talking about investing in domain names. My experience with names like that has not been good. Like, they sit in my portfolio, and I agree, going out and proactively selling things is a whole different ballgame. And I'm generally not proactively selling names of that sort of, tax bracket
level. Yeah.
But I do think that, it obviously has meaning. There's I forget the number, but there's a significant number of people searching for it every month. But the problem for me is, like, how do you make money on that domain, right? Like, that's really the question you always have to ask. How is somebody going to make money? Because if somebody can't make money on this domain, or they can't reduce their cost of customer acquisition, like, I don't know where the value is, because the value is derived from the utility, and the utility is always, not always, but for the sake of business discussions, the value is always in a commercial application, and it needs to be that they are either able to sell something, they are able to reduce their cost of customer acquisition in some way. How are they? Is somebody going to build this out to be like a thought leader on healthy beverages? Like, I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Who's the buyer and why?
Yeah, listen, I think my pitch would probably be an e-com play for just selling healthy drinks online.
You buy healthy drinks online?
Yeah,
I don't even buy drinks on Amazon, and I buy everything on Amazon. I would buy my car on Amazon, but I don't buy drinks.
I do buy drinks on Amazon.
Are you serious?
I buy these healthy energy drinks. I buy these things. Celsius. Yeah.
What is Celsius?
So, it's a healthy energy drink. So
aren't those two words? Aren't they like what is that, an oxymoron?
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. Exactly. But not if you take the energy out and you just say healthy drinks that give you energy. That's my pitch.
I ain't buying it, man. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying what you selling.
No, hey, listen. I agree with Drew. If I bought that and stuck it in my portfolio, I don't feel like I would even get an inquiry in 12 months. But if you could pick it up for a couple of $100, pretty sure I could turn it around for a couple thousand. It's just not I don't like Drew says, I don't see that it has an awful lot of utility. I just think that it's a domain that I could sell. And that's just because, from an investment standpoint, I just want to kind of like balance it out into, can you make money with that domain? I think you can make money with that domain at the right price. Do you agree?
Best quote ever on DomainSherpa. I just want to kind of know if I could make money. Like, I only want to buy domains if I think I could, make money. Best quote ever.
There you go. You could put that in the front page of the show. I want to know if I could buy domains to make money.
I'm laughing, but and it's not
You
even
agree.
funny because people, are losing money. But the reality is that like a lot of people who come and watch this show, who send me emails every day, they missed that first step. they skipped right over, Domains 101. And in Domain 101, you get taught you only want to buy domains that you think you can sell for a profit. In other words, make money. They skipped that step.
Sure.
And they went to the more advanced classes without having that foundational thing. That's when the trouble happens.
Yeah, and I mean, how many people in our industry are like killing it and making a profit every year? Very few.
I would love to actually know the answer to that question. I wish, because I, like you, believe it's very few. But I would like to know. I think it's probably more than I think, but less than what most people think. Throw a number out.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Throw a number out.
Throw it.
How many? Let's say that they've got at least 3 consecutive profitable years. Profitable, we're going to define profitable as making enough profit to pay the bills and, put food on the table, et cetera, et cetera. So let's say, they got to be making at least, 40 grand a year in profit after expenses.
Less than 100 without having other business, like straight domain investing, less than 100. But everybody's got their
well, I'm just talking about the domain business itself. I don't care if they drive trucks. I don't care if they own a billion-dollar manufacturing facility. But as far as their business, their domain business is concerned, is it profitable? 3 years consecutive. How many of those folks do we have in the industry? I would actually love to know this question. Tess, from now on, we're going to ask this question of every new guest. Because I actually want to know. I believe that therein lies the truth. Like, we asked, 1,000 people in the domain industry, somewhere in the median of all those answers will be the correct one. I think it's probably around, we're talking worldwide. I think it's probably 500, 400 to 500.
That was my
consecutive years. Three consecutive years, making at least 40 grand net profit a year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say it's probably 1 in every 100 people that consider themselves part-time or full-time investors. Something like that. 1 in every 100. Not that many.
Yeah.
I bet it's less than that. I'm pretty sure it's less than that because I think we've got.
Yeah.
I think we've got. I forget what the numbers were, but it's a pretty significant number. Like the people that kind of moonlight as a domain investor who buy domains on the side but they're doing it as an investment. It's a pretty large number. I think we're over 10,000 people who would sort of in some way identify as a domain investor in some capacity. And I don't think we have 1,000 or more profitable domain investors making, who have a real business. Real business again being, real profitable business being, let's say, $3 grand a month net profit.
Yeah. From my time at GoDaddy, I mean, I left 7 years ago, but for 7 years, I had a book of clients from 300 to 600 clients who I talked to very regularly. And, quite a few of those were corporate clients, but quite a few were domain investors. And most of them were trying to make some profit on the side. they were not trying to bring in $40,000 net. So I think the majority of domain investors would consider themselves successful if they make a $5,000 to $10,000 profit a year. Though that's a small amount, it's still a nice supplement for the average American.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I was more looking at it because I agree with you 100%. And that's amazing. Like if we had, 50,000 people in the world who were generating $3,000 to $5,000 a year in extra income because they were domain investing, that would be amazing for a variety of reasons. But I was more looking at it in terms of like the people that you could actually say, okay, this guy's got a domain investing business. And a business needs to be, for it to be a business, I think it has to be of sufficient capacity to like really pay the bills. I think that's probably $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm out of touch. I have no, I don't know. But I think, I think that's a reasonable definition to say like, I've got a domain investing business. If I didn't have anything else, if everything went to hell in a handbasket, I've got a business that makes me $3,000 a month. I won't be homeless. That's a business. If you make $3,000 net profit a month, you've got a real business. So that was sort of why I picked that number.
Okay, cool. This was
and
good.
then I rounded up from 36 to 40.
Okay, good talk. I think it's time to wrap it up. This was a very good show. Josh, you're up first. What's going on in your world? Anything you want to give a shout out to?
No, not really. I mean, this is probably the first year where I've been really active. Even though I've been part-time, I've been actively communicating with a lot more people in the industry. So I know a lot more people now. I try to spend as much of time as I can because I enjoy it doing things domain name related. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm still full-time. I have to I have to be careful with my time. So it's very, very busy for me at the moment. But yeah, I'm still investing in domains. I'm still tweeting about it as much as I can. I'm pretty bullish on the future of domain names. I'm seeing a lot of cool things happening. So
fabulous. Well, I'm delighted that you came on the panel. You definitely have a lot to contribute, and you're brave to put up with these two guys.
Yeah, they were great.
Good luck on your transatlantic flight with your 11-month-old tomorrow.
Thank you.
Shane, I think you're next. What's going on besides pre-sale?
Same old DSAD, Josh and Travis putting out a list, having a little fun at the beginning. We're trying to start a site, runbright.com, where we sell or have an affiliate site for like safety lights and running lights, and it's not up yet, but we're working on getting it all together. I think there's a business model. I think again, without going on a tangent, there's so much stuff on the internet, so much stuff on Amazon. I think there's an opportunity to curate some of this thing by somebody that knows about it and give their suggestions and kind of whittle it down. And if you can have some authority in that, I think there's opportunity, because I know when I'm looking for something, I want to find somebody that really knows what the hell they're talking about. So I think that's a big market, especially if you're good at something or known for something or an authority. And I know safety light sounds stupid, but I thought Run Bright was a great name. But I see hikers and joggers and all kinds of people that with LEDs coming out, there's some pretty cool things. If your wife goes out and runs, you want to have safety lights. And it sounds small, but I think it could work. And so
no, it sounds like a great dropship business, actually.
Yeah.
And
we've And so as you get to know, you become better at it, you make the first product yourself. And so you add that to the mix. Meanwhile, you sell affiliate at everybody else, but then your product. And as you get bigger, you add more and more products that you make yourself and dropship.
Yep.
Cool. I love the name. Yeah.
I think it's a good
I
opportunity.
think the whole future of e-commerce is all about curation. I really do. I think the whole thing is about curation. Everything, we've got too much offering, too much, SKUs or items for sale. It's just too much. There's just too much data, too much information. Everything is too much. Literally, we are like in the age of just abundance. Everything is just too much. Too many people, too many things, too much information, too many options. We just got too many damn options. We're gonna have to cut options off the end of media. We're
So
just
if you
gonna
can
be
find somebody that displays that or rates it in a fun way or a different way. There's a guy called DC Rainmaker who's a cyclist, and he goes through every product and beats the hell out of it and tries it. And if he says it's good, I'm buying it. I mean, he's so good at what he does. So I just think that I'm going to try that model. I'm already running. I'm already trying things. It fits in. We're all super busy people, but sometimes there's something that fits into our wheelhouse that we can continue on. So that's
one of the things that we. I was just going. One of the things that we focus on, and my full-time job is we really try to provide less options as opposed to more options, just to simplify processes. So it's most people are like, what? Everybody wants options, but that's not true anymore. It's just not true.
No.
So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going to try this winter. And now that the nursery settled down, we don't close, but for 2 or 3 months while it's winter here in Illinois, we take it easy and rest up a little bit. And that's one of our projects. So we'll see how it goes.
Very
nice. When you get over 50, you got to do that stuff.
I know. I actually hired a running coach because I'm just too old to try and make up my own.
What?
Routine. Yeah. I have a coach.
Wow.
He puts out my training. Sometimes you just want to follow. There's nothing wrong with that.
Look, man, it comes back to that same what we were just talking about. It's like, at the end of the day, what is a coach? Like I had this guy, I hired somebody to do a email intervention. And
what is that?
Nicholas Zonenberg, shout out. Dude is legit, right? So I'm super skeptical about all coaches. I just think that it's a crock. I'm just not into it. Not actually, sports coaches is something else. Yeah. So sports coaches were some of the most influential people in my life, actually. But this new age coaching phenomenon, I'm not digging it. But at the same time, it's exploding in every single things that, I certainly didn't know we needed coaches in. And what is it all about? It's about curation, right? So this guy comes. Now, there is 4 million articles that I could read about how to increase my productivity on email. I don't want to read 4 million articles. I just want the guy that read the 4 million articles to tell me the 3 that are the most important for my circumstances, right? There are 4 million pieces of freaking productivity software out there. I don't want to try them. I hate them all. In fact, I don't want to use any of them. But if I have to use one, then I want the guy who has tried all 4 million of them to come and say, oh, for your circumstances, you don't even have to think about it. Here's the one that you need, right? And so to me, it's like, that's what a coach does. It's like, okay, Shane, again, we're coming back to a sports coach. Running coaches and sports coach, so they get a pass. But even so, it's still a little bit about curation. It's like they've studied all the different techniques. They've studied all the different gear. They've studied all the different, training methodologies. And they're like, okay, your body type, your age, where you live, whatever the circumstances are, here's the training regimen that is perfect for you. And you don't have to think about it. You just show up with your running shoes on and go freaking run. So I really think this curation thing is huge. I think it's like the trend in terms of e-commerce.
All right.
Even a coach is really curating all that information and distilling it for you.
Well, you're going
one
to the
would
next
hope.
level.
One would hope.
Curating all the healthiest energy drinks and just putting them at healthydrinks.com.
There you go. There you go.
Are you going to start a new TLD, Drew? .curate or .curated?
I tried to buy like every possible version for like the last 2 or 3 years. I've actually kind of been watching this trend, and I've tried to buy all of the various. Can't get them. No go. But you know, somebody will. Yeah. I even tried to buy Cure, and then the number 8. I tried everything. I tried all of this.
Maybe next time, if we don't get a portfolio submission, we'll just put together various Cure 8 and have everyone else rip them to shreds.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Before we close, I actually, on Twitter, I think it was you, Josh, said something. It was a compliment to me, but I was laughing because I don't think it's true. Yeah, I think it was you said, somebody said like, I don't remember, something about, you know, good acquisition. And you said, you know, aren't all of Andrew's acquisitions good? I don't remember ever looking at one of the domains he bought and thinking, oh, that was a newbie purchase.
That was me.
I'm misquoting it, but I think it was you. But I was, and then I was thinking to myself, man, if these guys knew some of the crap I buy when I'm, you know, bidding on late at night on NameJet, GoDaddy, and I had the most perfect example in my inbox this morning, which was backuplan.com I bought for $640, I think. And I thought it was backup plan, but it was backup land. It was missing one P. And the real painful part about this is that I wasn't the only idiot. I wish I was the only idiot, because then I would have gotten this for like 69, 79, you know, under $100. But instead, there was 2 other idiots who bid this thing up, and it cost me $640.
That's because they saw Seafood Man on their bid. Once they see Seafood Man, what? Awesome.
They
were like, what the heck does land mean?
This idiot's got a proxy.
We're just messing.
Push him.
They're like, look, like Drew made a mistake. Let's bid this up.
No, it's like a game of Russian roulette. It's like the 2 other guys were on Skype, and they were like, all right, your turn to bid him up.
That's
and,
right.
and it's like, okay, I get it. He's still the high bidder. And it's the next guy. It's like, okay. And it's like, he's still the high bidder. Actually, that could be a fun game.
Yeah, I should delete that tweet.
Okay, next time on Domain Sherpa, we'll play that game live. All right.
I like it. Domain roulette. Domain roulette. We're gonna think about this. All right. This is domain roulette.
Off a NameJet.
I like. Yeah. In that spirit, I have a question that maybe we should also add to every show. Is there
domain roulette owned by huge domains for sale for $2,995? I think we should get them to give it to us, and then that's gonna become a part of the Domain Sherpa show. We're gonna play domain roulette.
All right, get on it. That's for you to negotiate them to give it to us.
And we're gonna have to get NameJet to give us permission to play that game. And we're gonna have to think about how the rules of that game work. But I like it. Domain roulette.
I like it. And speaking of which, is there a domain that any of the other Sherpas on the show own that you wish you could buy from them right now? Just asking.
So one of the other guys own that.
Drew, your kid's trying to come in?
No, that was you.
Oh. All right. Well, I guess we'll stick with domain roulette. That's cool. All right. We got to wrap it up, though. Shane has more Christmas trees to lug. You personally picked up 800 Christmas trees this past weekend.
Yeah. And thank you to Michael Seiger for sending me something to help me with my shoulder. He had done his 300-mile run. He goes, I found some things that were pretty good. And I said, send them my way. So Seiger's always.
I found some. I know a few things that are pretty good too.
Yeah. You notice I didn't call him. He's like, don't take all 100 milligrams.
You can get them on bottles.org.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. All right, Sherpas, thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all next time.
See ya.